Hi there, RV camper and boat owners. Today we're going to be taking a look at NOCO's line of their marine grade commercial battery boxes. These are available in different sizes, so you can get the appropriate one that's going to match your particular battery or multiple batteries if you've got a battery bank. This is an extra heavy duty battery box that is designed more for commercial use for RVs, campers, boats, things that have a lot of oscillation around, because your battery in here, you can keep it strapped down, but on a weaker box it could eventually crack or make its way loose from the case. Something like this is a much heavier duty container that's going to hold our battery, ensure that it stays in place, and it provides a good dampening box for our battery to rest in, because we don't want any of those forces to transfer from the road through our trailer into our battery, potentially causing it to crack and leak. With a box like this, it's going to minimize those effects. It's going to help keep our battery stay in place and ensure that we have a leak-free battery when we get to our destination. And instead of just a traditional strap that holds your battery on that you could easily have a little bit loose or could loosen up on you, these are screwed on with knobs here. We can see that you can easily take them on and off by hand. There's going to be one located on each side, and since it threads in, it's going to be a nice secure mount that's going to keep our lid in place. And when we look inside, we can see we've got plenty of cable management inside this vented battery box. There's a total of 8 pass-throughs, 2 on each side, to allow all of your cables to easily pass through. And you can see how large the cables are. This is pretty small gauge wire that our customers using on this battery today, but you can go all the way up to a 0 gauge wire and pass through the opening here on these cables. In most cases, a 0 to 4 gauge wire is going to give you maximum output from your larger battery banks if you're drawing a high capacity from them. The box is constructed of a rugged molded plastic that's going to be resistant to impacts, UV rays, oils, gas, and battery acid, which is also important because if you do have a battery that leaks, especially if you've got it stored inside a compartment like we do here, we don't want that battery acid leaking out and deteriorating any of our camper. We want it stored inside of our battery box here. And when we looked down before, we saw the bumper, the molding at the bottom. It also raises your battery up slightly, so that way there's a cavity below it for that any leaks to store inside the box, where it's going to keep it kind of away from our battery. You could either use nuts and bolts to secure it by drilling out a hole and then passing it through and securing it down, or in a lot of cases you could use self-tapping screws. We've got a metal panel here at the bottom, and that's what the customer did here. They just used self-tapping screws to just run it right down into the metal panel. That's fine as well. If you have a wood surface you're going to mount it to, you could also use wood screws. And this is a vented battery box, so it could be stored either inside of your camper here at the front like this, or you could store it on the outside. Maybe if you've got it in the back of your boat and it's exposed to the elements, the box is going to be fine against any kind of rain or harsh weather or sunlight. Same if you've got it mounted outside on a trailer, maybe a dump trailer or something you work on. This could easily be placed outside as well. If placing it in a compartment like this, you do want to keep in mind that batteries do need to vent. The box is vented, but many of your original batteries will have like a tube, something like this, that runs over. You just want to keep in mind that when you store it in any compartment, that you have some kind of ventilation in that compartment to allow any of those vapors to escape from. And unlike a lot of other plastics that become brittle and crack easily in extreme cold, we can easily go down to -20 degrees with this and still have plenty of impact resistance. There's also molded handles inside of our box located here. We can easily grip this to pull it out. Now we've got it mounted on our camper here, so we're not going to be pulling it up, but when you are taking the battery in and out, it's nice that it has these molded handles, especially with as heavy as some of these larger batteries can be. When you go to set this down in here, you don't want to have your hands underneath where they can get pinched. Having this little cutout ensures you can set it down nice and easy without inflicting any pain on yourself. And with this being a marine grade box, it does meet all federal requirements for marine use. And that completes our look at NOCO's line of marine grade commercial battery boxes.